everyone that's joining us right now, Amir is the head and co-founder of OutSchool. And we are so thankful that you came up with this idea of this education platform, because I don't know, we're going to get into it a little bit later, but you really have transformed the lives of us homeschoolers, road schoolers, unschoolers, because, there's stuff out there, but not like OutSchool.
It's really
takes it to a whole new level.
It's really hard to find something that resonates with the way that we want our kids to learn, which is self-directed learning, and really dive into what they're into and explore their limitless potential. So that's what we're really into, and so this platform has really resonated with us. And it's just, hey, Sky wants to say hi.
Hey, good to see you.
It's just amazing to have this tool in our arsenal of educating our kids. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I'm so happy to that we can serve your family on your self-directed learning journey, and so many others. So I really appreciate that.
All right, so let's hit it off. So what made you want to start an education platform?
Well, there's several reasons. Both my parents were teachers, and I just realized as I was considering having kids of my own how much they had helped me. And, I had a very kind of standard education in the UK, right? I went to regular school. I was good at academics, and then I went to college. But then I was reflecting on what I wanted for my kids as I was thinking about having kids in 2015. I now have a 4-year-old and a 16-month-old. And I started to realize, oh, wow, what my parents did for me was incredible. Because they didn't just help me with my schoolwork, but they helped me pursue interests outside of school, including getting me into computers. Like, they spotted that I was really into playing computer games and I wanted to program them myself. They found me resources to help me do that. And so, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in tech, my whole career. And when I was thinking about starting my new thing and thinking about having kids, I was like, well, I want to integrate my work with what I want for my kids. And that got me, reflecting on what is it that I want for my kids' education. And that got me reflecting on my own learning. And then I met some homeschoolers, especially from the unschooling and world schooling community. And I started to realize, oh, wow, there's this type of learning and type of schooling which I never could have imagined. It was completely different to how I, like many people, thought of homeschooling. And I wanted to build something for this community and then take the ideas and spread them so that more families realize that there's a different way to approach learning. And that's how we founded OutSchool, with this idea to serve homeschoolers with an incredible variety of classes and take the ideas mainstream.
That's amazing.
Love it.
On that one.
Yes.
That was good. It really resonates.
Well, you really nailed it. I have to tell you nailed it, because we are unschoolers, world schoolers. We've been living in an RV full time for 7 years now, as well as traveling the world with our kids. And we love that hands-on everything, like everything. So OutSchool for us we use it in so many ways in our life. Like, we do tons of field trips, like we travel full time. As we're traveling cross country, we will say, if we're going to NASA, Kennedy Space Center in Florida, we're like, all right, let's get on OutSchool and see what we can learn before we go there. So that way, It just amplifies the whole experience, right?
Amazing.
And so they did a ton of NASA classes. And then we go mining for crystals in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So we hop on OutSchool, and there's classes on mining and crystals and how they're formed and all of that. And then it's just endless. It really is endless.
So and that's how we hope that OutSchool is used. The idea that you can create these arcs of learning that's driven by the kids' interests, and you can cover a multitude of subjects along the way. And so I love the way you're using it, where you're traveling to a new place and you can start learning about it in advance. And learning should be kind of like an unfolding of a story. I think that's more like how our brains actually work, rather than kind of the regimented, you're going to do 30 minutes of math and then you're going to switch subjects. Well, what if you're really into it? Like, why can't you carry on doing the math if you're into it? So that kind of flexibility is what we try and offer, so that you can kind of find something that kind of works within wherever your learner is right now and whatever it is that they want to learn.
I like to look at a high level picture too. So in 2017, when you had this amazing idea to create this platform, we can't see the future, but did you ever realize or think about the impact that you might have on the future generations of education?
I'll be honest. Yes.
I love that.
As a founder, entrepreneur, I like to think big. So, I wanted to come at it from the point of view of what if we could create something that could have big structural change in education. I'll say, we made tons of progress, but we're only really just getting started. The thought also was, when we think about technology used in education, a lot of what is being built is like tools to use within the context of the existing system. And I think that's very worthy work. If you can build tools that can help teachers in a classroom setting, that's great. But I thought it kind of missed an opportunity to actually find ways to use modern technology to actually like transform the system itself. And it seems crazy to me that we have these apps, or it seemed crazy to me back in 2015 where you had these apps where you could click a button and get a ride, and like a car would just like show up within a few minutes with like Lyft and Uber, and yet you couldn't do the same for like a drawing class or a critical thinking class or a yoga class. And so I thought, if we can achieve that, if we can make education more like that, where you can just like be really flexible and just dive in right now, then that could have like a transformative impact. I think the other piece I've realized along the way, and this is another piece of the potential of Outschool that I'm really excited about, is that our classes are live online. They take place over video chat in small groups, and so the kids can be joining from all over the country, all over the world, along with the teacher. And what I haven't appreciated about that in the context of like some of our countries and the world's social problems is, I have this belief that if kids can have a positive learning experience together with other kids who are not like them and are from different places, that can increase empathy in the world and, have education be less tied to where you are physically, less tied to your nation state, and instead create this kind of global community around this format of learning. And us adults, we're kind of like stuck in our ways. We have all our hang-ups from how we were brought up. But if kids have that experience, then I believe in coming generations, things can be radically different and for the better. So yes, we've always been ambitious about Outschool, and we hope that we can have that positive impact. And that's why I'm so grateful for the families who use us now, today, and guide us in how we can take this forward.
I'm going to jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So a lot of times we focus on the kids and we're like, oh, the kids are getting so much out of this. The kids are getting so much. But, if we pull back one more layer and we look at the teachers, like the teachers are on another level also, because I don't know, like, can you elaborate a little bit on the teacher aspect of it, where being able to foster their creativity and what their passion and really honing in on what they're good at instead of trying to teach 7 subjects that they don't really care about.
I could just say one thing is we can hear the teachers, like our kids talking to the teachers during classes, and the passion that amazing. I hear from these teachers. I go, I never experienced this when I was in school. I never had a teacher that was passionate about what they did. And to hear them, it gets you like almost emotional, because I'm like, they're in their element teaching these kids that are interested about that thing. And it's just magical to really hear.
That is intentional, and that is part of the value that teachers get from Outschool. So we tell teachers, teach the things that you're passionate about in the way that you always wanted to teach it. And our bet is that if you do that, then you'll find people who want that. And above all else, that's the important thing. And that's different from what the instructions teachers get in other educational environments, right? They get told they have to teach this curriculum and they have to achieve these results. And we don't tell them that. We say, we trust you as entrepreneurial creative professionals. You create these classes in the way that you think is going to have the best impact. And that's what you see coming through in the classes then when the teachers feel empowered. And it also means that we attract great teachers, because we attract teachers who want that flexibility, who have that passion for their profession and want to be rewarded financially for that passion for their profession. And that's what they can achieve with Outschool. So it's a very, very compelling proposition for teachers. It's like, teach flexibly, teach the way you've always wanted to teach kids who have opted in to be in your classes rather than you have to be there. And oh, by the way, if you're successful, you can earn far more than you could do in a regular school environment. And then we attract great teachers with that value proposition because it's great. And those great teachers in turn, attract, families who really want to craft their kids' education and really value that passion. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling cycle. So it's very intentional that we set up that environment for teachers.
So I love that it's all intentional too. Like, what you're doing, and then it trickles down to us, and then we're on the receiving end, and it aligns so perfectly. So I don't know if Allie told you anything about my daughter. Last year, she was 12, and we were down in the Florida Keys, and they have farmers markets and stuff. and she went on OutSchool and she took an entrepreneurial program. It was an 8-week program. And let me tell you, it lit a fire under this girl where she, by the end of the 8 weeks, she was actually building, like, the teacher had them do this whole process of figuring out the products you're going to sell, this and that. She started ordering everything on Amazon. Everything was done by her. She didn't want any of our help. She was like, she's the oldest, right? So the total self-starter. And started her own business. We got her own business license. Yes, she did the farmers markets, didn't want us to help with anything. She was making sugar scrubs and bath salts. She had like 5 different things that she was selling that she made all by herself.
Wow.
And all sparked from the class she took on OutSchool. And so many people were, seeing this 12-year-old at the farmers market and like, this is so amazing. I'm like, go on OutSchool if your kids are into this, because she literally followed this 8-week program and it sparked something inside of her. And she's living today. Like,
well, here's the
there's so many stories.
We'll go a little deeper. Then the money that she took from that, she took it and invested it in crypto. And so, maybe that'll pay off when she's 18. Her $1,000 that she made, maybe it'll be worth $1 million when she's 18.
It'll be a learning experience either way.
Right.
Which is important.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's amazing. That one class could change her life when she's 18. So,
that's incredible. Yeah. And this relates to the founding story about school, because one of the things I was reflecting on is all the skills that I used along the way to get into software and to be an entrepreneur. I was reflecting, like, I studied engineering in college. In principle, that's relevant to my career, but compared to the stuff that I've learned outside of school, I don't use it. I don't use my degree. It's great for opening doors. In theory, there were some transferable skills, but the real transferable skills are actually acquired by doing. Attending a business plan competition as part of the entrepreneurship club, useless. Utterly. Actually doing entrepreneurship, like your daughter did, magical. The only way you really learn things like that. And so I'm so glad that OutSchool can be part of that journey. And I'll recognize it's only intended to be one part of the journey, right? Like our classes, sure, we want to kind of we hope people can kind of smatter them in on their learner's journey and they can be support, creating motivation. But the real magic happens outside of class when kids go and actually using the enthusiasm and the new knowledge and actually go and apply it. So I love that story that you shared. I'm so glad that your daughter had that experience. I do hope it works out with crypto investments, recognizing now.
Me too.
Time. We're looking at long-term goals, big goals, long-term.
Yeah. Now, I would love to touch on something that is absolutely so unique to OutSchool, that we haven't found anywhere else, is the marketplace of classes and the wide variety. I mean, over 150,000 classes, right? And they, no matter, and I tell people all the time, whenever I post on social media, I go, I want to challenge you to look for a topic on OutSchool that your kid's interested in. And if they don't have it, I'm going to give you $100 or something, because there's a topic on, it's covered in OutSchool. I've looked up like true crime, escape rooms, learning guitars, languages, mining, like literally everything. So can you touch on that, on how was that completely intentional to really cover every possible thought that a child can have and have a class on it? Because I find that so amazing.
Yeah, and we have 140,000 classes right now, which is great, and it's awesome that you say you can find like everything. But I'm sure you can't actually find everything. Our goal is to have like 1 million classes, 2 million classes. But even if you can find the topic, like, is it the exact right teacher and learning group at the right time? The more classes we have, the more teachers we have, the more precise we can be about matching with exactly your learner's needs. So that's exactly what we hope with creating this tremendous variety. And it's different from other types of marketplaces because there's no limit to human knowledge, and there's no limit to creativity. And why should there be? Why should there be a limit? Why can't we let learners explore every possible facet? And we're constantly surprised with what teachers come up with, and that's why we talked earlier about how it's intentional that we set it up this way to allow teachers to be creative. But there's an element where a lot of stuff that happens in the marketplace is not intentional. It's because we've set it up to allow that freedom that teachers are able to create things that we would never have expected would be posted and yet are successful. An example from the early days, and now there's a thriving kind of subculture within the marketplace around this, but we never expected it. And that was a teacher posted critical thinking skills through Dungeons and Dragons. And we thought, oh, that's cool. I'm not sure how mainstream this is going to be. Like within 3 months, she was like a full-time online teacher and couldn't keep up with demand. And now we have an entire like section of the site which is around learning various skills through Dungeons and Dragons. And that's the kind of stuff that we would never anticipated. We also wouldn't have anticipated that people would have group music classes online, and that could work well. But it does. So, one of the great things about a marketplace model that we have is that, yes, it's intentional, and we're continually surprised by, where it goes and where people take it. And that's really exciting because it only benefits learners when teachers kind of post these unexpected classes and then find their people.
Yes. Well, I know our same daughter, Nixon, loves the escape room classes, right?
Nice.
And talk about critical thinking. We cannot solve these challenges. Like, how does she figure this out? And so she'll write down the little, trying to figure it out on paper. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't even get it. And that's one of the teachers that stands out by far. He's amazing, and his enthusiasm with these kids, and his classes are always packed. But she then takes the I don't know if she's using the same exact challenge as she did in class, but she'll go on a whiteboard here at home and want to challenge all of us to see if we can figure out the challenge.
Oh, wow.
And we typically can't. And it's so embarrassing. And I'm like, but it's amazing because she's using, she's not going to see this stuff in regular school. She's not going to be doing any of these things in regular class. Actually, a lot of people commented. I think I put a short video on that. And one of the kids goes, I always pray that when I go into school, our teacher is going to use an escape room for the day, like some sort of challenge, but it never happens, right? And so I know my experience in school was very boring. I don't have very fond memories, Grew up in New York City, and it was just very generic, right? But seeing what kids are learning these days, we even have adults go, do they have this for adults too? Like they want to do the classes. Oh, I'm like, tell me about it. So yeah, I just love the variety because, we have 3 very different children. They're all into very different things, and all of them are completely satisfied with, we give them a budget every month. They each have their own budget where they can book their own classes, which gives them a sense of they're self-sufficient. Like they pick the classes, they book them. They are responsible throughout the week to make sure they hit those classes. If there's anything ready for the class. So it empowers them, and my kids are 9, 12, and 13. So to start sort of at this young age of being responsible for all of that kind of stuff is just amazing to watch.
That's next level. For sure.
One thing that I've been so happy with is my 4-year-old is now an OutSchool user.
Oh, yes!
On his 3rd birthday, I took the day off and I was like, right, we're going to do 3 OutSchool classes. And I was worried because, I've been building this business for years, and there was a chance that my son didn't like it. And he didn't want to.
Oh, no!
Thankfully, he loved it. And then, now he has like 5 ongoing classes each week, suitable for, his age. It's mostly like, story time, like reading, like counting, that kind of stuff. But there's also like show and tells where, he's starting to learn kind of social skills and turn taking with other kids, all the stuff, that you might expect for a 4-year-old, but you really can't get elsewhere. And he's in a part-time outdoor preschool. And, some families who worry about these alternative preschools and, part-time and outdoors, worry about that because they worry that is their kid going to be like ready for kindergarten? I don't have any of those kind of concerns because he's getting what he needs and he's able to spend most of his days outdoors. So, that's how I'm using it personally. But, I don't know, how we're going to be using, my own product when he's, your kid's age. So I'm glad to get that. I'd love to learn, you've talked a bit about the business entrepreneurship classes. What are your other kids into? What other classes do they take on OutSchool?
All right. So Skylar's our middle daughter, and she takes language classes. She takes guitar and ukulele lessons.
Amazing.
Drawing.
A lot of drawing. She's doing animations now, which is crazy.
Oh, so something that she started doing a lot was survival. She's really, really into like survival skills and all of that. So I think she might have taken every single one of those classes. Sky, what other kind of classes are you into?
Ryder's into Roblox, right?
So Ryder's learning math through Roblox.
Everything is through Roblox, like history and
which one?
And math and all that. So Sky's coming over right now.
Okay. She's doing Procreate classes with animation.
Do you want to show one real quick? We got a quick little 10-second Procreate here that we could show. So she's animating each frame on this, and so you can see, and she does it
like
with the
one
teacher.
By one, yeah.
And one thing that we like with the teachers too is they almost become mentors to the kids. If they're in classes for an extended period of time, they become advisors. They become mentors and people that can help them navigate their journey. Nixon wants to do a bunch of acting stuff, and so her teacher was like, "Oh, you can go over here and do this, make this portfolio, and go talk to these people, and go to your local, performance center and do this." And I was like, "Man, it's just crazy." You get their knowledge on a personal level too, which is amazing.
And stuff that you're interested in. I think for me, that's the biggest thing is what I didn't have, and probably same with Jimmy, is like you just go through the school day. And there's no time for interests. And you don't even know what you're interested in because you literally go to school in the morning, you get out, you do your homework, you eat dinner, whatever, and you do it again the next day. What we love is, we took our kids out when I think they were in kindergarten and second grade, and Ryder was in preschool. And so they don't have much regular education. But what we have found is they can explore anything they're interested in. And it may be something that lasts a week. It may be something that lasts a year. Who knows? But they get to explore so many different things that they never would if they were sitting in a classroom. Not to say one's better than the other, but I think from my experience, I just love being able to give that to the kids, where they can totally where they can totally dive as deep as they want. And sometimes you figure out as much as you want. You're like, I'm done. Let's move on. But the knowledge that they gain is so vast and interesting that it actually shapes them as they get older.
And that's part of, like how I thought about where the future of learning needs to go, because what you describe is much more like real life. I mean, and I remember like leaving school and college and going into the workplace, like, now I have to pick how I use my time to achieve certain goals. And there's no formula as to where I want my life to go. I mean, there's some kind of like defaults, which I guess society prescribes, but those defaults are getting like changed all the time because we're not living in a world where people keep the same job anymore. People are much more likely to have a patchwork of work, and kind of the careers that you take are likely to change multiple times across your lifetime. It's like, well, how on earth are we preparing kids for that if we are telling them what to do with all their time with limited choice? We are telling them what they need to learn and with curriculums that are created with yesterday's world in mind. How on earth is this going to prepare kids for a fast-changing future? And, I think the most important thing is that kids have confidence in their ability to learn through lots of experience and learning new and different things, and love learning because they've got excited by it and they've had a high degree of autonomy when they were young. And what you describe, in my view, is what the future of education should look like. And that's why I was so inspired as I learned more and more about homeschooling and unschooling in the early days of our school. It's like, wow, this isn't just people doing unique things for their kids, which is also great, but actually these are people who are experimenting with the future of education, and this is the way things should go. So I'm very inspired by your journey, and I'm really grateful that you are as part of your journey kind of documenting it and sharing it for others, because this is part of like how we co-create the future of education together, in my opinion.
Love it.
Exactly.
We'll talk about the future here. We'll segue. It's a perfect segue into that. But Sky's over here itching at the bit. She wants to show one more little piece of art here that she created. She's an artist on many different levels here. So, all right. So this is Procreate, and you have to go frame by frame and create these little art pieces here.
No, my iPad just died.
The iPad just died. We missed the moments, guys.
Live demos are always a challenge, in tech.
Tell me about it.
So get it charged up, and we'll finish up. So it's perfect segue into the future. What do you envision for the future of OutSchool, and the big vision? Like what's in your head?
Well,
that's
okay.
Yep. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So, so far we, I'm immensely proud that we've been able to help like 1 million learners, and that's incredible Obviously, especially during the pandemic, many families who discovered us outside of our core kind of homeschooling community who otherwise wouldn't, which is great. But we want to reach 10 million, 100 million learners around the world and create a genuinely global learning community. And so right now, the majority of the learners on the platform are based in the US or Canada. We have like learners from 150 countries around the world, but predominantly US and Canada. So we're making efforts to reach a wider group of people anywhere around the world and truly create this global learning community. So that's one thing we're focused on. Another thing we're focused on is building more and more choice for learners, both in terms of the number of classes and the teachers that we have available, and then over time, tools so that kids don't necessarily need to talk to you in order to get into class. They can just like take the budget that you give to them, join class themselves. So more and more tools that empower kind of learner choice. Those are our kind of two big areas that we want to focus on. But we're in this for the long run. We founded the company in 2015. Immensely proud of the impact we've had so far and the growth. But for us, this is just the beginning, and it's going to be a long road and a very fulfilling road to kind of try and transform education. That's so important. I can't. This mission that we have. I'm not just talking about the company here, but kind of the wider community of people doing things differently. It's just so important, and I want to keep pushing that and keep showing others who might not yet realize what is possible that we are in this bubble when it comes to kids learning, and we need to break out of that bubble.
Very cool.
I 100% agree.
And that's why we love sharing the message of Outschool so much, because when we really believe in something, then you can scream it from the rafters, and it's like authentic and it's real and it's transformational and it's next level. So it is an honor for us to be able to share this space with you and be able to collaborate, so to speak, on what you created and how it impacts our life. So it's absolutely amazing.
Thank you. And it's an honor to speak to you because, we've talked mainly about kids education, but let's talk about the bubble in, how people construct their lives and in their work. We don't need to be stuck in this corporate culture. And I say this as someone who's building like a company. Not necessary. And in fact, if you're able to work from anywhere and take a modern profession, then you're also able to take a different view and have more flexibility in your kids' education. And they go together. And I think, you and your family are perfect examples of what is possible. And, I wish other people would, instead of thinking about what society dictates their lives should be, instead really introspect and thinks, what do I want my life to be? And have the confidence to actually go and pursue that. So I have a lot of admiration for the path that you've taken and how you're going about it. So that's why it's an honor for me.
Thank you.
Well, so with our platform, we have our audience, we have a lot of families, a lot of people that are inspired to do something different, but they don't know where to go, where to start. It's sort of like us 7 years ago. We knew we were kind of just miserable in our lives of the kids going to school, and we had our film business, and that was great. But it was the daily hamster wheel that we were like, there's got to be more. Are other parents feeling this and they're just not talking about it? I felt like there was an elephant in the room and nobody would look at it. And I finally had to address it. And I was like, okay, so I drop the kids off at school. It's craziness every single morning. I go to pick them up. It's the same craziness. And everybody's smiling, kind of, and I was like, okay, so what's going on here? And then I was exposed to world schooling, and I was like, okay, drop everything. This is what we're meant to do, like the adventure and the experience and all of that. So that's with our platform is what we love to show people, because if you don't know, you don't know, right? And so, with social media has so many amazing facets, right? We get to share our life. People get to see an alternative way of living. We've had so many messages from people where they're like, thank you for showing me this and sharing your life. I had no idea this existed. I had no idea there was things like OutSchool that can help us, because I'm terrified to homeschool my kid because I don't even know all the stuff that I'm supposed to teach my kid. So there's so much to it. And so anything that we can do to sort of get it out to society, like you said, you don't have to just deal with what's been going on for 150 years. There's options. And we love to let people know about all these options because we feel it's our job now. Like we feel like what is it? Like we found the secret sauce or something to life with kids, and you can have fun. They can still learn. You guys can go on adventures. You know, you can have build community. There's so much to it.
All right, Sky's itching here to hop in. She's got 1% left on her iPad, so she's going to show it to the world.
Watch the little guy, okay?
There's a guy laying in a bed. Is that what it is?
No.
Watch the reflection there.
Whoa!
Cool.
Good job, Sky.
All right. So,
I know we're running out of time.
Yeah, we got a lightning round here that we want to do. Sky, do you want to ask a couple questions?
Sure.
All right, so it's a quick lightning round for you, Amir.
Go ahead, just answer. Maybe ask the first like 5.
All right. What is your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday? I love going to the Mediterranean in Europe. I miss it. That's the one thing about Europe, going to the beach in the Mediterranean. I've not found. Sorry,
which part?
I've not found one. Greece, a Greek island.
Oh, Greece.
Sitting on a Greek island with a cocktail is like my jam.
Oh,
wow. Right, do this one right here.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Lots of coffee.
Oh, we thought you were going to say tea. Okay.
I'm unusual as a Brit.
Pizza or hot dogs?
Oof, that's a tough one. I've got to say pizza. There's too many close to me in San Francisco.
Pizza.
Yeah.
What is your favorite animal?
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Oh, we're stumping him.
Find it cat. We also have a strong cat culture within our school, where cat pictures, and we even have like a Slack channel about cats. So I've got to say cat.
She's watched the cat classes.
I was watching TikTok, and your live just popped up.
Oh, Ryder just found our live on TikTok.
Oh, no.
All right, how about
Nixon? Did you want to ask some questions?
this one right here?
Summer or winter? It's so cold.
I think I know this one.
I've got to say summer is part of what I like about California versus England.
Oh yeah, right.
Last one right here.
All right, Nick.
Nixie's gonna read one real quick.
Beaches or mountains?
Peaches or melons? Ooh, these are tough. Can I say both? Is that?
Yeah,
No,
sure.
Nixie said you gotta say one.
If I had to pick one, it would be a peach. It would be a peach. Yeah.
In Greece. In the Mediterranean.
Yeah. Peach cocktail.
Oh man, with a cocktail. Let's see.
Out school or real school?
Oh.
Easy one. By the way, out school is real school. We're real. We're right here.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Did you have any questions at all?
No.
So this is Nixon, the entrepreneur, who
good
also does the escape rooms and.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yes. We are
all right.
huge
So let's if you got a couple seconds here, we'll field a couple questions that we have coming in. D4 White 3 says OutSchool should expand to South Africa. If we have it there, we would use it a lot. So that's kind of an interesting one.
One thing, like, there's stop you signing up from 4 classes from South Africa. So we haven't like got the kind of currency in your local currency, etc. But like you should be able to sign up right now. So there's more work to do, but don't stop yourself signing up.
And then Romeo Smith asked, do you have to pay for OutSchool?
Yes. So the teachers set the price per student, and they need to be paid for their time. So yes, you do need to pay for OutSchool classes.
All right. Any other questions coming in here?
All right. I know there's been a bunch. What are the most popular classes at OutSchool?
Oh wow, that's like asking me like what's the most popular kind of like of my kids. There are so many, and you've got to remember that people's interests vary. So what's popular for one sub community is different for another. I'll highlight one class which I love: the science of farts, and parents love it. Parents love it because it's great science. They go like, "Wow, this is great science." Kids love it because obviously farts are hilarious. So like that's the kind of class that we love.
So on that note, Sky takes Poop Through the Ages. And it's fascinating. It really is truly fascinating. She goes through like the Roman times, like so much history, and how the poop was, how whatever, all about the poop. And so it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. I like that class too.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing we.
Seriously, Crazy Adventure says, if we're new to the platform, what's the best class to start with?
That's a really good question, because there's 140,000 classes, so you need to start somewhere. What I would say is there's no one best class. What the most important thing is that you use the tools. They're like search tools and filtering tools. So enter your kid's age, enter the subject that you're initially interested in, and enter your schedule. And then look down the classes. And then I would say sit with your child and choose it together. Because the most important thing is that they're excited about it. And so you can watch the teacher videos and decide it. That's the most important thing. It's less about which class. It's about the fact that you've put in what you need and that you're doing it together with your kid.
There's a lot of comments coming in and saying, like, there's partnership programs where you can do like half school, half VOTEC, or half high school, half this. And they're wondering if that might be something in the future that you're working on, is like, these are maybe accredited classes that can complement the traditional school schedule.
Yes, we'd like to get there in the future, so you can kind of do a mix and match. But we recognize some people want that and need that for the career aspirations that their kids have. So we absolutely want to offer that, while never losing sight of the fact that regardless of whether a class is kind of traditional subjects or for accreditation, we want the kids to want to be there. That's the kind of the core. But it doesn't rule out us doing like traditional subjects, and you can find all the traditional subjects on OutSchool if that's what you want.
Very cool.
I saw something really interesting. I think you might like this one. I have followed the OutSchool project since January this year. It has inspired me to study software engineering full time. Like, that's the kind of stuff.
Wow.
I love that.
It's got to be so fulfilling for you at the end of the day, because as we entrepreneurs, and we're leaving our legacy behind, to leave something behind like this that is transformational for the world, is just, it's got to fill your heart and just make you feel good.
It does. Yeah, I built it for my own family, so it's really important to me that other families get value from it too, because it's what I want to leave in the world. So yeah, it really does feel good.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, by the time your 4-year-old is our kid's age, I'm sure OutSchool is going to be, I can't even imagine what you're going to do with it, but 5-7 years down the line, it's going to, like, we think it's taking education by storm, and we tell everybody about OutSchool because it's our favorite thing.
Someone in the comments says, can you make some classes for adults too? Because we want to learn.
People say that a lot. There's nothing stopping you listening in from the side of the camera, when your kids are taking classes. That's how to take class as an adult.
That is so funny.
Very cool.
So I know that people should start, whoever wants to get involved in OutSchool, we should start thinking ahead, right? Because the classes do fill up, and for the winter and for, next season and all of that. So we have a special code. If anybody that's watching right now wants to try the first class, we got $20 off for you. Amir was so generous.
Which is crazy.
And the classes range from 5 to 20, right?
Yes, per hour.
10 or so per class.
Yeah.
And what I love too is that there's semester-long classes, there's one-offs, there's some that are multiple times a week. There's the 52 weeks of history. There's such a wide variety of options that you guys, whoever's in here right now listening, please check out OutSchool, because our kids, 3 completely different personalities, absolutely love it. And I say it all the time. If there's a class that you search on OutSchool and you can't find it, message me, because I'm going to give you something, because I guarantee you're going to find it. It's that awesome. Yeah. So, all right. Well,
yeah. Do you want to add anything else to take us out? Any, amazing,
It's such a pleasure to be talking to you, and thanks everyone for listening in. I do hope you try out OutSchool and that it works for your family, and don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm just Amir at outschool.com. I love to hear your stories. Just really, really grateful to help your family and be here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Come on, guys, get over here.
Absolutely awesome.
All the kids, Ryder, Skyler,
we have a little tradition when we get off a call or wrap up one
Ryder,
of our videos.
Come here, honey.
Get in here.
All right.
Come on, Ryder. And we're going to Mexico right after we get off this call. We're going to Mexico, and so this guy's been practicing her Spanish. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, she was taking one-on-one. What's that?
One of the sad things about being on this online format is I can't give you all a hug, so I'm going to kind of give you
it's a virtual hug, a big virtual hug.
Virtual high five.
All right.
So we're going to do a send-off. We always tell, whatever you do, get out there and Try something new.
Without school.
And out school.
I love it.
I want to end the call.
Amir, thank you again so much.
Yeah.
And if
you.
anybody has any questions, send me a question. I'll answer as much as I can. And
it was awesome. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate
wait,
it.
guys,
Have a great trip. Have a good journey.
thank you so much.
Bye now.
Wait, she's trying to show you something.
Right
Hold on.
there. This thing right here.
Dream it, see it, do it.
Oh yeah, looks like that.
Oh yeah.
There.
Dream it, see it, do it. That's like
Bye,
an outdoor model too.
All right. That's the end.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.